Spotlight the health challenges that impact our communities and also the solutions that can make a difference. So today, we're addressing an issue that often goes unnoticed but has profound consequences: period poverty. In Nigeria, millions of girls miss school every month because they can't afford menstrual products like pads and tampons. The escalating cost of these essentials has put them out of reach for many, leading to absenteeism, low academic performance, and even dropping out of school entirely. So, to discuss this, we have, with us, this is Omowaire. Dr. Omowaire, did I get the name right?
Omowaire, yes.
Omowaire, yes. We have to practice for that one. Ayodele Omowaire is in the studio here with us. Thank you very much for joining us. So, Judith, this is the first time I'll be having this conversation with someone who's not a lady. So what do you know about menstrual poverty? Just a joke. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us on this topic. Judith, please.
Oh, yeah, I mean, of course, menstrual poverty is period poverty is a conversation that is coming to the fore even more, and I think is very, very much important. Yeah. So let's start by understanding the scale of this problem that we have and, how prevalent is period poverty in Nigeria.
All right, good morning. So, yeah, period poverty, as we all rightly know, a lot of people know around the world, it's been a problem across ages, like many issues we solve around the world. It's something we always need to talk about because we have backloads of women all around the world who are not still privy to the information of proper menstrual health, proper menstrual hygiene, and then every day we give birth to women, every day we give birth to children, so there are more people entering the puberty stage who needs to know this, and this becomes a problem because we have a backlog, we have others coming in, and everybody needs to have access to this information. This is why now population around the world is escalating beyond reach, and then we need information to reach as much as maybe twice what we have maybe 10, 15 years ago. We need to do more right now. So that's one of the reasons why period poverty needs to be spoken about more.
Has to be brought to the fore.
Yeah. We have a package put together that we'd like our viewers to see based on this situation. So let's take a look at that, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Dr. Omowaire in the studio here.
Hygiene is a crucial yet often overlooked aspect of girls' and women's health. In Nigeria, an estimated 37 million women and girls experience period poverty, meaning that they are unable to access or afford menstrual products like pads and tampons, but also pain medication and underwear. It is a situation that remains largely unaddressed within the society, even as the escalating cost of sanitary pads over the past 5 years has made the problem worse, putting an essential product out of reach for a large portion of the population. But there are people working to raise awareness of the situation. Medical students at the Lagos State University have taken it upon themselves to start the Pad a Girl Drive, an initiative aimed at raising awareness and empowering women and girls with vital knowledge and free sanitary pads.
The goal for this event was to bring awareness for the need for menstrual hygiene and also make awareness for women and young girls to ensure that they have a good reproductive and sexual health so that we will have, togetherness and also empower and uplift women.
There was an engaging medical seminar with Dr. Alima Olalere and Dr. Obasonya Akinola. Dr. Alima Olalere emphasized the numerous health benefits of proper menstrual hygiene, debunked common misconceptions, and provided practical advice for better management.
When we are bleeding, what are the things that we use to protect it, to cover it, so that our blood is not going to be soiled? One of it is the pad that we are here for today. That every girl should use the pad. Some people use cloths to cover when they're menstruating. Why some people use tampon?
Students actively participated in the session, asking insightful questions which led to deeper discussions. Many attendees shared their excitement about the Pad a Girl Drive, applauding its effort to break the stigma surrounding menstruation and support menstrual health awareness.
Informative session, it was very necessary. It enlightened me on some of the cultural and religious biases towards menstruation that I didn't already know. Some I knew, but also showed me a lot of things and like a lot of things that we can do better. That is to always take care of the girls that are having their periods.
So I think that it's a very important initiative. There's the possibility to think that as medical students who can afford medical school, we don't exactly need something like this. But I think that it's actually not true, because we are going to be future medical practitioners. If each of us actually know the importance of advocacy when it comes to Party Girl Drive, then we're able to, in each of our own disciplines, actually push that initiative and make sure that every woman gets the care, gets the affordable care, affordable menstrual hygiene that they can afford, that they actually deserve.
They can always focus on their health, irrespective of the economic situation in Nigeria now. We all know it is very, very harsh. So we have an alternative. It's advisable that women use the sanitary pads, but even if they can't afford it, there are other alternatives. We have the cup, we have the tampon, we also have the reusable pads in which they can use. So the men also, I want the men to also support them, because men are fathers of these women, they are husbands to these women, they are children, sons to them, uncles, friends. So men also have to support them, provide both moral, physical, and social with emotional support to make sure that these women, during this particular time, every month, they get the best care and they can also improve in their health and hygiene.
With initiatives like the Pad a Girl Drive, the conversation around menstrual hygiene continues to gain momentum, empowering young women and breaking stigma one step at a time.
Interesting package there, and it's very interesting to see that along with you, there are other male individuals who actually are driving this process, the Pad a Girl Drive, for instance. But I wanted to talk about this. How important is it that male individuals, whether sons, daughters, or whether sons, uncles, or so-and-so, like we heard Dr. Haroun there say, how important is it that they also be a part of this drive, initiative,
All right.
movement?
Thank you so much. So it's very, very hard to differentiate the role of women and men in period care and then period poverty, as one said today, because we see in taking care of a child, in growing up of a child during their development years, the father is also deeply rooted in the growing up of their female world as much as the females are there. Because at the end of the day, let's say today the mother has something to do, it's not there for the daughter. That
falls on you, the man.
Falls on the man. And then they have uncles, like right said, they have friends. And so everybody should know, because everybody should be involved at the end of the day. It's not a women thing, it's not a men thing, it's everybody's thing. And it's a very, very serious issue. Okay. Very, very serious.
Very serious indeed. I mean, let's talk about the misconceptions and stigma around about menstruation in Nigeria, and how it contributes to the problem that we're facing when it comes to period poverty, and how best can we tackle this stigma and cultural misconceptions.
All right, thank you so much. So one of our major issues, tackling period poverty and menstrual health and hygiene, it comes to one of our very major issues is cultural bias, because we believed so many things from old, when there were no science infections, when there were no these new medical interventions that have come into place. We believe so many things. There are many myths, like they tell people not to touch living organisms when they're on their periods, that the living organism will not be fertile. Tell people not to maybe cook food, the food will not be done. We hear a lot of things like that, and then it's up to us to tell people that these things are not as the same. This is just a normal physiological growing up of any particular person, any female child. And every female child should have menstrual period, and to always come. It's just a normal physiology after 28-day cycle. It should come. But then people do not understand this. We still back in our old days, still believing things that are not. And it's up to us to. This is one of the things we do to educate us, to break us from the yoke of this misconception of cultural bias. So all these things is just normal. A child should, after particular days, shed off the lining of the uterus, and then menstrual cycle just 5 days, after 5 days. Are done, and it should just be like that. So it should be learned.
Someone's going to be watching this and saying, so how does the lack of menstrual products affect girls and school and their education? I mean, what exactly is it? Is it not just blood? Is it not just period? Why do you know all these women say for their wala? Address it.
No, it's not just that. We should not look at it that way at any particular point. Period sometimes is not just about the blood. It goes mental also. So I sometimes I just imagine a teenage girl, let's say 9.
I don't want anybody to miss what you're saying, so I'm going to fix your other. And just let's take a very short break so that we can get that technical issue fixed. Do stay tuned. We've got more to discuss here regarding this issue. We'll be back. I see something like this.
Good morning.
Let's put your chin inside. Say something.
Good morning. I'm coming here this morning to talk about period poverty. And,
I'm sure you're good.
All right.
You're good. All right.
And you're welcome back. Let's continue with our Wellness Central here on Breakfast Extra. Our guest today is telling us how lack of menstrual products affects girls' education. Believe it or not, it actually does. And he was telling us about this before the break. Our guest today is Adedeju Omowarie. Hopefully I got that correctly. Yeah, sorry. I'm saying Orie like it's from Delta State. Orobo. It sounds the same. Forgive me, but let's keep it moving, shall we?
All right.
So, how does it affect it? For those who are watching and thinking this is such a fast stretch, it doesn't mean anything, tell us.
All right, so thank you very much. So if I start to list the number of ways period care poverty can affect child's health and education, I don't think we'll leave this program here today. But then let me paint a scenario. Let me paint a scenario for you. So the importance of the female reproductive system is a very, 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 very sacrosanct part of the body. In medical terms, we call it is a what do you call it now? A septic part of the body, which is very, 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 very very, very sensitive to microorganisms, as the case may be. And this can go all the way to affect the child's life throughout. When we talk about infertility, we talk about infections. So a child, let's take an example of a child using a reusable pad. And now, instead of using it once and disposing, or using one, let's say 3 in a day, maybe change after 6 hours, use one for 24 hours, and then you have this backload of blood, and you have these infections, you create a culture media for infections, and this goes all the way back to the female's body, and then affect, and the female get a reproductive tract infection one time. This, before treating this thing, this will go on for maybe a week, 2 weeks. A child is supposed to be in school learning, now treating infections, and then coupled with the myths you said before, let's say a child that is just seeing the period for the first time, seeing blood for the first time, knows nothing about these things, then he gets a classmate that knows nothing about it, so saying, oh, maybe you offended the God or you offended somebody, and then the person is afraid now, you are going to go and meet one person, they are padding you up with all these misinformations, and then you have to use aseptic materials to clean up things that are full with infections, and then you go up, have infections, then they will keep compounding the issues. The gods are still angry, you need to do this. Well, the little thing to do is just to use, get parts that are usable, 6 hours, you are fine, and the baby is fine with proper information. So period care poverty, it affects people, a female child, in a whole lot of ways. School education, you treat infections, you affect them later in life. You have to talk about infertility, talk about various, who keep listing and they would not, but this connects in a whole lot of ways, even through the mental ways also. I don't mean you don't have enough period care packages, you don't have enough parts to go through the day, and then you have bloods at your back, and people are telling you you are stained. These things go a long way. I mean, you cannot walk on the road, you are confined to your house, there are things to do, you are free to go out, because what if I get stained outside?
But what about the availability and access to these products? How accessible is it, especially for people of low means?
All right, so I think over the years we'll keep evolving, and then we'll keep making these things in small bites for people that are not, let me not say people that are in the low income, to be able to get these things easily. But even with that, we know the state of the economy, the state of things around. There are still a lot of people that are still will not want to use less than low right now, that cannot get access to these things, and then they tend to use what they have. They tend to use ways, maybe use clothes, use...
and these are detrimental ways, detrimental to the body.
So that's one of the reasons why we see the initiative by the Girl Drive to at least, the one we saw a few minutes ago was to empower people to empower others. Because we keep talking about it, there are still people out there who do not even know these things, who do not even have access to simple, the most minute way, the simplest form of this care, this package, this period package, and they are around. The availability is much, it's all around us. But then when it comes to the issue of poverty sometimes, because people do not have access, people cannot really get these things. A box of pad that we should be able to use for maybe 6 hours, people, because of no money thereabout, use it for 12, 18 hours, and this...
Do you find that in your drive that there's more request for perhaps maybe the reusable kinds of pads instead of the one-time use? And how have you guys aided, especially communities that might find themselves far away from vicinities where they can access these products? What are they turning to? Reusable pads, or are there other methods that they're advised to use?
I mean, the best method is what we're advised to use, which is reusable. Which is not reusable, but disposable. That's one-time use. But these are the best. That's the best thing to use, because we keep having to teach them again for it's healthiest to use. So we keep having to teach out, because reusable parts now comes with, you have to know how to reuse, how to wash,
then there's that.
But then the people tend towards the non-reusable, the disposable, because it's better. And that's why we want to go out and share this thing more and tell them. Because at the end of the day, when you look at the price differences between the reusable and non-reusable, people tend to think back and be like, okay, because I can reuse it, the price is not that much. It's better to go for the disposable, which is always better, to keep more care, to be more healthy, and then to avoid infections at the end of the day.
There's something that I also want to bring to the fore, and it's a conversation that's been had globally, which is taxation of menstrual products. It has driven the cost of it, especially for countries that are riddled with, period poverty. And so if we're going to talk about real change, let's talk about how policies can influence those changes. And by policies, I mean legislators. Your take, how do we start by effecting a change that can affect the price of the products so that even those who are underprivileged or the barest or the minimum households, minimum earning household can afford without having to scrape pennies?
Yeah, so thank you. We keep having these talks over and over again. I think 2 years ago, we keep having this talk of no, every child is entitled to a pad. We should not, sometimes the talk even goes off to pads should be made as low as possible so that everybody can get, because we keep having this talk. Economic policies, we keep, even the Senate level, they keep having this taxation, we keep having the price, hike in prices of, if there is, I do not even feel, even in the worst economic policy as possible, in the worst that we can get, things that are very important to our health and hygiene should not be taxed, should be made available in the lowest possible for people so that everybody can be able to get. Because when you increase, the problem is when you increase the prices, less people, they tend to go into divert to other things that can help them. So that's why we keep having, this awareness, we keep having these talks for reduction in prices of this period care packages. It's very, very important.
Other means? Digital? You're also sharing this message on digital platforms as well, because that's necessary.
Yes.
Adidiji, I want to say thank you so much for taking out the time to join us this morning and just really bringing to the fore a very important discussion. It doesn't end here as well. You can also be part of the initiative and add to the Pad a Girl initiative.